I'm sorry, you felt that you had to do that because you felt we were not supporting you.
No, sadly not. The feeling is that this was our decision, therefore the consequences are on us. And despite 3 years of asking for help and seeing or visualizing how this might end, it was, I don't know, it's been really hard because I am part of the system with them. I always have been. But I guess I'm very aware of this, that my brother can't leave that system, but I have.
Does your brother want to leave the system?
I don't know, I can't speak for him. But I also am acutely aware of where my family stand and how scared they are of the tabloids turning on them. If you as a family member are willing to wine, dine and give full access to these reporters, then you will get better press. There is a level of control by fear that has existed for generations. I myself was trapped.
You were trapped?
Yeah, I didn't see a way out. All she'd ever want is for us to be happy. With that relationship and that control and the fear by the UK tabloids, it's a toxic environment. But I will always be there for him. I will always be there for my family. And as I said, I've tried to help them to see what has happened.
Do they think it's a toxic environment, or do you all just think it's a toxic environment because you're now out of it? If we were to have an interview with them or a conversation with them, does your father think it's a toxic environment or relationship?
No, I think he's had to make peace with it.
And why couldn't you make peace with it? I'll ask that of both of you.
Because this was different, you know.
It's different because of the race?
And social media.
And social media. Oh, yes.
Right?
Different time. Different time.
That didn't exist. And so it was like the wild, wild west. It was spread like wildfire. Plus, my being American, it translated in a different way across the pond. So you had a noise level that was very different. But if they can't see that it's different.
So you felt bullied on an international level?
Look, I think the volume of what was coming in and the interest was greater because of social media, because of the fact that I was not just British, and that unfortunately, if members of his family say, well, this is what's happened to all of us, or if his, you know, if they can compare what the experience that I went through was similar to what has been shared with us. Kate was called Waity Katie, waiting to marry William. While I imagine that was really hard, and I can't picture what that felt like, this is not the same. And if a member of his family will comfortably say, we've all had to deal with things that are rude and racist are not the same. And equally, you've also had a press team that goes on the record to defend you, especially when they know something's not true. And that didn't happen for us.
You mentioned earlier, Harry, that you were hurt by the fact that there's been no acknowledgement on the part of your family that this was different because of race. Do you think there ever will be? And would that make a difference to you?
Yeah, it would make a huge difference. You know, as I said, there's a lot of people that have seen it for what it was.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Like, it's talked about across the world. Yet, the very people that don't want to see it or can't see it.
Did you leave the country because of racism?
It was a large part of it. I remember that the Santa Bali fundraiser.
Yes.
One of the people at that dinner said to me, please don't do this with the media. They will destroy your life. This person is friends with a lot of the editors and like that. And I said, sorry, just elaborate, what do you mean by that? Obviously I knew. He said, you need to understand that the UK is very bigoted. And I stopped him. I said, the UK is not bigoted. The UK press is bigoted, specifically the tabloids. Is that what you mean? He goes, no, the UK is bigoted. And I said, I completely disagree. But unfortunately, if the source of information is inherently corrupt or racist or biased, then that filters out to the rest of society. That announcement that we put out on the 8th of January in 2020, the contents of that was put into a letter to the institution, to my father, which was then shared at the end of December while we were in Canada. And to then get back on the 6th, after my grandmother had said, the moment you land, come up to...
We asked if we could go up to see her.
Come up to Sandringham, we'd love to have a chat, come for tea, and why don't you stay for dinner, because it's going to be a long drive and you're going to be exhausted.
She even said stay the night.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
The moment we landed in the UK, I got a message from my private secretary, Fiona, at the time.
Private secretary is sort of like a CEO role in the institution.
Cutting and pasting a message from the Queen's private secretary, basically saying, please pass on to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex that he cannot come to Norfolk. The Queen is busy. She's busy all week.
After she just invited you?
Yeah.
Just invited me. The Queen's busy. She's busy all week. Do not come up here. Okay. So I rang her from Frogmore that night and said, I was thinking about coming anyway, but I hear you're now busy. And she said, yes, there's something in my diary that I didn't know that I had. And I said, well, what about the rest of the week? She goes, oh, that's busy now as well. Okay. I didn't want to push because I kind of knew what was going on. And then later that night...
But doesn't the Queen get to do, doesn't the Queen get to do what the Queen wants to do?
No, when you're head of the firm, there is people around you that give you advice.
Okay.
And what has also made me really sad is some of that advice has been really bad.
Do you think you would have left or ever stepped back were it not for Meghan?
No, the answer to your question is no.
You would not have?
I wouldn't have been able to, because I myself was trapped.
Please explain how you, Prince Harry, raised in a palace, in a life of privilege, literally a prince, how you were trapped.
Trapped within the system, like the rest of my family are. My father and my brother, they are trapped. They don't get to leave. I will always love him. But there's a lot of hurt that's happened. What's termed or referred to as the invisible contract behind closed doors. But I also am acutely aware of where my family stand and how scared they are of the tabloids turning on them. If you as a family member control by fear, that has existed for generations, wouldn't have been able to, because I myself was trapped. I will always love him. But there's a lot of hurt that's happened.
Yeah, back with the lovely Amy. Amy, I don't really know what Prince Harry's trying to tell us, because if you take away the fact that they're one of them, then what he says is good. But then what it is I hope everybody can see by the picture I put on that it almost looks like the top part of his body belongs to one person and the legs actually don't belong to him.
That's right. Yeah.
I know that he's leaning in the chair a bit, but it still doesn't look right.
I know.
And
I saw that.
now we're going to show this picture, Amy. Right. Kate. Meghan. Oh, wrong one. Kate. Meghan. Kate. Meghan. Amy with the same mole on the same side of their face in the same place.
Yes.
I mean, you could say, I want to say, how the hell does that happen? But obviously Meghan Markle's got freckles on her and Kate doesn't. But you were saying that, because they do have the same teeth, but you said Kate's teeth were a bit more squared off. So basically, she puts a tooth cap on.
Yes. That's different ways that they can make people look different. They can put caps on their teeth just to change them up a little bit. and change up the appearance a little bit.
I mean, what I know that the moles don't look exactly the same, but I mean, what's the likelihood that they're both going to have a mole in the same place?
I know. It really seems unlikely.
We already did the video that Kate was Meghan Markle.
Yes.
So I took a couple of pictures of the black dress. Considering she's 6 months pregnant, she didn't really look pregnant, does she, Amy?
No, she doesn't, Karen. No.
I mean, that's just the shape of the dress. She's got this belt.
Yes.
Whatever's under there, if that's an item there, it's just a square.
Right.
I don't know. She put her hand up, but you know, she's only got to put her hand up, and you can make it, you know, from viewing the other side, it makes it look like she's got her hand on her stomach.
Oh, that's right.
She's 6 months pregnant.
Yes, I know, and I don't think she looks like it at all.
No. You still look quite big at 6 months, don't you?
Yes, you would be getting big at 6 months.
When you look at this top part of his body is not, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. We actually know they're on a green screen.
Yes.
Right, 1 second. There you go. The hedge is in Meghan Markle's hair, and she's nowhere near the hedge. So this is what happens with green screens or whatever, however they're doing it. We've done cartoons. Yeah, so anyway, but we're looking at Harry's legs. They almost don't look like they're attached to his body.
I agree, yeah.
I see it in the video itself, but they're just not right. That's like a mannequin.
It is.
Look at that. That's just ridiculous.
Yes.
Oh, he's holding his hand in a funny way there. No, it's probably signals to each other, or however they do it. Yeah, I just don't think those legs look like they match.
No, they look like they've been put on.
Yeah.
They don't look that they're natural. Looks like they photoshopped them in, or however they
Well, I think the whole thing's like it. I think the whole thing is not real.
That's what I think as well.
So, what did his speech mean, Amy?
Yeah, that was a very...
Because he says quite a lot of things in there, and a lot of it's like, shh, I'm just telling you that they can't get out. I got out, but they can't get out of that.
I know.
No, they can't get out. You're damn... If he's a real person, right, and he did get out, but I don't believe it, because we've just done the beauty spot, the mole. I'm sorry, there's no way they're going to have one at exactly the same place. I already did that video the other day when Kate looks just like Meghan Markle. And then this is all just another game. But in it, he says half the things you would want him to say. I've rebelled, I've left.
Yes.
Or maybe it's him leaving that's changed everything.
Maybe so. But,
because you know what? Everything's the wrong way round. I mean, he says his brother can't leave and his brother is due to be king. Well, he's in line to be king, but it's not Harry should have been the king.
That's right.
And they're changing everything now because Harry's left. And what did he do? One for all for Harry's left. Now we've got to change everything. Because don't forget that when they went off to Canada, this whole thing started.
Exactly. And he kept talking about the press and how they have to have a deal with the British tabloids or whatever. And that way the tabloids, I guess if the royal family gives them what they want, like picture-wise or whatever, then the tabloids will be good to them and show them in a
But it's more than that, isn't it, Amy? Because Meghan Markle is played by Kate.
Right. I just feel like they're trying to bring a narrative of racism into everything. you know, we've had it in the United States of America for a long time. They constantly want to have an issue of racism. Most
There isn't
people are
one.
not, right, people are not racist, but the media wants us to think that everybody is racist, and it's been an ongoing thing in the United States, and it sounds like now they're trying to bring it over to England as well in their narrative. That's the way I see it. They're trying to make it look like the royal family.
Do you know what? With the way that they've done it, Amy, and how they've already done it, it's already been probably hard enough for everybody to mix and mingle with each other after what they've done.
Exactly.
Because, you know, it's going to, you know, the older English will have, oh, my dad said this, that's what we felt about them, you know, but ultimately, we've come from a peaceful place, or the people are peaceful, got to be.
Exactly.
It's all of it there, the whole of that message, you know. I think I've got to add still a bit more. When it plays, I'll have added it. The bit about Prince Charles getting upset and all that, like, it's like, no wonder, because basically he got no inheritance. They basically cut him out of everything. So I wonder if that's connected to what's going on.
That could very well
I don't know how, because he wasn't due to be king at all.
Yeah, that's
Only if
right.
William, you know, we don't even know what's going to happen to Prince Charles, because Trouble thinks that we don't like Prince Charles. And I said, well, what will happen is the Queen will die, he'll be made king, everybody won't like it, but then he'll just have to get on with it, and he'll be king for however long he's king. But then comes William, probably in the next 20 years. So Harry wouldn't be king till at least another 20, whatever, it's such in the future, what difference does it make? But they're changing everything right now, and Harry's left. But maybe that's just part of the smoke screen, because Kate is Meghan.
Right. That's right.
And doesn't look very pregnant.
No, I wouldn't have even known she was pregnant, to be honest. If I just saw that interview and didn't know that she's supposed to be pregnant, I wouldn't have thought that she was pregnant. So,
well, I don't get it, Amy, but we never do we? But, you know, so if you were just, like, didn't realise that he was part of the game, his speech is quite good, isn't it? But we know that he is, and that she's Meghan Markle, and this is all part of the game. But he says a lot of the things you'd want to know about, but there are times where he says, I'm not going to talk about it. And she's asking questions, and he's going, no, I don't want to talk about it.
I know. So, do you think
I was trapped. But I'm not now. I'm free, but they're not.
I know. I mean,
God, I tell you what, how nice for them. We're all trapped.
Exactly. We're all trapped. Maybe that was what his message was, because people are saying that they watched this interview about how they're complaining, and here, you know, they've got all this money and everything, and people have lost their jobs, and it's not been the greatest.
They're still on the Magical Mystery Tour. It's Alice in Wonderland sort of thing. She's Cinderella, and the prince came for her and everything.
Yes, exactly.
Meghan came for Meghan.
Yeah, that's a good point. She's like Cinderella, and you know, people said that was terrible for them to be moaning and groaning like this, when really, what kind of worries do they have next to the rest of us? So,
well, they are a celebrity, aren't they? Really, being interviewed.
True. Yes, that's true. But
he does explain that he has his inheritance from Diana, but
yes,
you know, she definitely wants to push it into racism. So you've got to move away from this country because it's so bigoted.
Yes.
But it's more than that, because the media run everything. So what? Harry's run away from the controller.
Yes, that's a good point. Maybe that's it. He's run away from the controller.
Well, Kate has. Kate and Harry have.
Yes, Kate and Harry. But then, you know, our media here is not any different than media in England. because they try to control everything too, you know. And if they're going to go in the Oprah Winfrey show, she just she owns so much in the way of media. She owns television.
See, do you remember the other day I did as well, that their ears even match up?
Yes, even their ears, and that's always a dead giveaway. Yes.
Probably the men are women and the women are men, because they like to do that as well.
Yes, they love to do that.
Well, that's just the end result, because I actually quite like what Harry said, but actually he's one of them, so...
Right. Yes, he's just one of them.
So he's not really left the firm.
No, that's right. He's not left the
But
firm.
I wondered if he is a real person, was it meant him leaving? Because they left at the same time the other lockdown thing happened, and, you know, I saw a picture, it said, oh, the Queen's back riding now, and there she was sitting on a horse. It's a picture. So everybody goes, oh, the Queen's riding. But you don't know.
No.
I'm wondering whether, you know, the next thing is the Queen's going to die of a broken heart, and the next thing is we find that Charles is in within months.
That could be a possible scenario. I could
Maybe
see
Harry
it.
left before the Queen, after the Queen died.
Yes. That could be as well. That's another.
Something's not right with the footage, and Channel 4 showed you how they do it.
Exactly.
With that video when the Queen's dancing on the table, which she isn't, it's all CGI, and the woman's playing her part behind everything.
Right.
But the Queen did it, but it wasn't, it was this woman. They showed you, Channel 4. They showed you how they did it.
Yes, exactly how they did it. And then they do it all the time.
Anyway, Kate's face doesn't look right round her ear here, but anyway, Amy, we're just saying it's not right again.
Yes, that's right. No, yet again, it's not right.
And we didn't even get round to the Meghan bit. In fact, I'd say 75% of that hangout, that video was about Meghan.
I would think so too. Say so too. I think Harry only came in for part of it. It
wasn't even that though, but it was all about Meghan.
Yeah, it's all about Meghan. Yes.
But you know, there was a couple of other bits when she said in there about the CEO. We did that with Claudio yesterday, where basically there was a CEO of Canada, so she's next in line to the Queen. So she's not as high as the Queen, but she's then one below a Queen. She's the CEO of Canada, and she resigned at the beginning of the lockdown, so that's Harry and her. And she's not been replaced, and an acting one's there. But that's very strange. And then they said, oh, the secretaries are like CEOs of, you know, of that place. So basically saying that they're in a corporation, because a CEO is of a corporation.
Yes.
Amy, I'm your CEO.
I guess I'm your secretary.
No, you're my CEO. So they mentioned that, and that was a bit strange, because only yesterday we did a bit about law in Canada. The human rights laws, and me and Claudia did the bit about the chief executive not being there anymore. So that's very strange, because she's next. So she'd never be a queen, but if you could look at it, she's next in line after the Queen, before the presidents, prime ministers, all that. She comes before that, and she's resigned.
Well,
all gone.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that at all.
And there is some change going on. So what is it? The Queen died? Was Philip supposed to be king? Was Harry supposed to be king?
I don't know. Possibly so.
Anyway, we always find the things that are wrong, but we don't always have every answer. But, you know, it's a bit difficult when you see Meghan with a mole just like Kate.
Exactly.
Come on. Anyway, so none of it's real, and that was all part of the game. What a shame.
I know.
Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome, Karen.